So many tenses in English. I speak, I spoke, I have spoken, I had spoken, I will have spoken, I will have been speaking. Oh, well, listen. In fact, there are only 12 tenses in English, and in this video, you're going to learn how and when to use each tense, and you're going to see actually that English is not so difficult. So let's go. You know, if you want to use the word play in Spanish, there are 50 different ways that you change the word play to indicate who is doing the action and what tense the action is happening in. 50! In English, there are 4. Play, plays, playing, and played. I mean, English is easy, right? Well, that part is easy. Now we just need to know when to use each one and a few other little grammar words too to help us indicate which tense we're talking about. So listen, really easy. When we're talking about tenses, everything can be divided into 3 categories. Things that are happening in the present, now. Things that happened in the past, like 5 minutes ago, or yesterday, or last year. And things that haven't happened yet, but they're gonna happen in the future, like in 5 minutes' time, tomorrow, the year 3000. Then within each of these 3 categories, there are just 4 different types of tense that we have. They are known as the simple, continuous, and a little bit more complicated, the perfect and the perfect continuous. So to make this lesson as easy as possible for you, we're going to divide everything into those 4 categories. We'll look at the simple tenses first, both in the present, past and future, then the continuous tenses, then the perfect, and then the perfect continuous. And before we start, this lesson comes with a free PDF that you can download there, and that includes a summary of the lesson, plus all the examples I give you, and a lovely test to test your knowledge on these 12 tenses of English. So let's get started with the easy one, the simple tenses. It rains. It doesn't rain. Does it rain? This is the present simple tense, and we use this to talk about things that happen in general. Routines, facts. It's a really common tense and a really easy one to form. We basically take the infinitive or the base form of the verb, like play, and use it with the person. I play, you play, we play, they play. The only difference is for he, she, and it, where we need to add an S. He plays, she plays, it plays. Simple. That's why it's called the present simple. So here are some examples of this. I get up at 7 o'clock every day. Okay, it's a habit, it's a routine, so we use the present simple. We leave the house at 8:30. Again, it's a routine. She plays the violin. That's just a general fact. It's true. She plays the violin. And water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Again, it's a fact, it's a scientific fact, so we use the present simple. Only thing you need to remember with this tense is to add the S for the third person, and with the question, instead of do you like football? If it's the third person, he, she, or it, we need to use does. Does she like football? Okay, the past simple. It rained. It didn't rain. Did it rain? Now we use the past simple to talk about something that happened at a specific time in the past. We can't change it, it's in the past, and that's it. We often use or imply expressions like yesterday, last week, last month, when I was a kid, when we're using this tense, because they're things that happened in the past and we just cannot change them. So to form this tense, we just take the base form of the verb, like play, and just add the sound t. There are more complicated rules for this, but that's the basic rule you need to pronounce this well. T. And this is only not possible when the verb already ends with a t or d sound, like want and decide. In these situations, we add the sound id. So want, wanted, decide, decided. But generally, just play, t, played. Watch, t, watched. If you follow that rule, you'll pronounce most of the past tenses correctly. Now, the only bad piece of news is that almost all the common verbs in English are irregular. So buy becomes bought, sell, sold, speak, spoke, and put, put. Doesn't even change. But hey, the good news is that we use the same word for all the people, I, you, he, she, it, etc. So that's nice and easy. Just remember that we need to use didn't for negative sentences and did for questions. So I studied French at school. I didn't study Spanish at school. Did you study Italian at school? And that's the past simple. Okay, the future simple. Some people call it the future with will because we use the word will. It will rain. It will not rain. Or with the contraction, it won't rain. Will it rain? So there are various ways we can talk about the future in English, but we use the future with will when we are deciding something in the moment of speaking. Like, ding dong, oh, I'll get it. I will get it. I decide right at the moment when I'm speaking that I will get the door. I will answer the door. Also for promises, like I will pay you tomorrow. I promise I will pay you tomorrow. And predictions, like I think you will enjoy the film. And it's a really easy tense to form. Basically, you put the person or it, then the word will, and then the verb, like I will get, she will give, he will tell. Just note, though, that we normally use the contractions where possible with this. So instead of I will get it, we'll say I'll get it. Instead of she will give you, she'll give you. And in the negative, instead of he will not tell you, he won't tell you. Generally, we always use contractions if we can in English, just to speak quicker. So there you have it. They are the simple tenses. It rains, it rained, it will rain. Now, let's have a look at the continuous tenses. Present continuous. It is raining. It is not raining. Is it raining? So the most common way that we use this present continuous tense is to talk about things that are happening right now. Like I am explaining the present continuous. You are watching a video. We can also use it to talk about temporary things, like she is living in New York. That's a temporary thing because eventually she will return to Spain. Or continuous actions and developing situations, like you are learning English. It's a process that is continuous, and for that reason, we use the continuous tense. It's really easy to form. You just use the verb to be, like I am, you are, he is, she is, and then the ing form of the verb, like playing, working, watching, eating, learning. Easy. Okay, the past continuous. It was raining. It wasn't raining. Was it raining? So it's the same as before. We just changed the verb to be. So instead of I am, I was. You are, you were. It is, it was. And then add the ing again. So, very similar to the present continuous. And we use this tense to talk about a continuous action that happened in the past at the same time as another continuous action, like I was tidying the house while she was cooking, the kids were playing while I was working, or a continuous action in the past that was interrupted with a shorter action. Like, I was reading, continuous action, when, bam, the phone rang. Or, she was working, continuous action, when, bam, I got home. Okay, so the continuous action in the past was, bam, interrupted by a shorter action. And the future continuous. It will be raining. It will not be raining. Or it won't be raining. Will it be raining? Again, we just change the verb to be and everything else stays the same. And in this tense, it's will be for everybody. I, you, he, she, we, they, blah, blah, blah. It's always will be, plus the verb in the ing form. And we use this tense to talk about a continuous action that will be happening at a specific time in the future. For example, I will be sleeping when you come home. When you come home is the specific moment in the future. What's the continuous action that will be happening at that time? I will be sleeping. I will not, or I won't, be able to answer the phone at 11 o'clock because I'll be driving. I will be driving. Again, specific moment in the future, 11 o'clock, and a continuous action. I'll be driving. It is raining. It was raining. It will be raining. Okay, remember this lesson comes with a free worksheet that you can download to get a summary of all the tenses, all the examples, and a test to test your knowledge. So make sure you click the link in the description to get that PDF. Okay, let's have a look at the perfect tenses. Okay, the present perfect. It has rained. It hasn't rained. Has it rained? Okay, so we use the present perfect for two main situations. One is to talk about an action that happened in a time period that hasn't finished. Like today, this week, this month, in my life. These time periods haven't finished, so when we specify them and we talk about an action that happened in those time periods, we use the present perfect. And we also use it when an action happened in the past, but it has a real clear effect on the present. Now, in that video there, I teach you some really useful words and expressions that we use in English. And when we use those words, we know that we need a perfect tense. So if you have difficulties knowing when to use a simple or a perfect tense, that video is a really cheeky little way of knowing when you have to use the perfect tense. To form this tense, we need the verb to have. I have, you have, she has, he has, it has. And then the past participle, like speak, spoke, spoken, spoken, eat, ate, eaten. Okay, it's the third one. So, talking about things that happened in a time period that hasn't finished. I have spoken to him 3 times today. I have spoken. I have been to Canada twice. Here I'm implying the time period of in my life. I've been to Canada twice. And she has never tried sushi. She has never tried. Again, this time period that we're implying is in her life. This might change in the future, but in her life, she has never tried sushi. Okay, and for actions that happened in the past but have a clear effect on the present, call an ambulance. This man has fallen. This man has fallen. Present perfect, because that action of falling has a real effect on the present. Like, we need an ambulance now. Or, I've lost my sunglasses. Can I borrow yours? Okay, I lost them in the past, but the effect on the present is very clear because my eyes are burning and I need to borrow your sunglasses. Past perfect. It had rained. It hadn't rained. Had it rained? We form this tense in a very similar way to the present perfect. The only difference is instead of has or have, we use had. And it's the same for everybody. I, you, he, she. So, when we're talking about two actions that happened in the past, we use this tense to talk about the action that happened first. Look at these examples to see what I mean. I had heard the news before you told me. The two actions are, I heard the news, you told me. Which happened first? I heard the news. So we used past perfect tense for this action. I had heard the news before you told me. I had lived in France before I started learning Spanish. Which action happened first? I lived in France. Because we're talking about two actions that happened in the past, we use this tense to indicate that one action happened before the other. She had eaten a packet of biscuits before I gave her lunch. What happened first? She ate the pack of biscuits, so she didn't eat lunch. Okay, so the present perfect, it has rained. The past perfect, it had rained. The future perfect, well, what's the future of have? Will have. So, it will have rained. Will have is the only thing that changes. Everything else stays the same, so it's really not too difficult. So the future perfect looks like this. It will have rained. It won't have rained. Will it have rained? So, when we're talking about two actions that happen in the future, we use this tense to express which action will happen first. Look at these examples. By the time he wakes up, Santa will have brought him presents. Okay, so action 1, Santa brings him presents. Action 2, boy wakes up. Which action happens first? Santa bringing the presents. So, by the time he wakes up, Santa will have brought him the presents. Another example. He will have made dinner when they get home. Again, action 1, he makes dinner. Action 2, they get home. Because we're talking about two actions in the future, we use this future perfect tense to talk about the action that happened first. He will have made dinner when they get home. And the third example, if you come later than 2 o'clock, I will have left the house. I'm basically telling you to don't come after 2 o'clock because I will not be there. Two actions in the future. The action that happens first is me leaving the house, and then the second action is you coming to my house. Don't come to my house then, because then I leave the house, okay? I will have left the house if you come after 2. It has rained. It had rained. It will have rained. Okay, so now you know the perfect and you know the continuous. The perfect continuous should be easy, right? Let's have a look. Right, the present perfect continuous. Sounds scary, but it's not. Do you remember the present perfect tense? I have spoken, I have eaten, I have taken. Well, let's use the verb to be, because we need the verb to be for continuous tenses. I have been, you have been, She has been. Okay, that's the perfect tense of to be. Well, now let's add the continuous bit, which is just the verb with ing. I have been singing. I have been taking. I have been watching. That's how you form the continuous tense. So, it has been raining. It hasn't been raining. Has it been raining? And basically, we use this tense to talk about a continuous action that started at a specific time in the past and is still true now. For example, I have been teaching English on YouTube for 6 years. In other words, I started 6 years ago and I'm still teaching on YouTube now. I have been teaching on YouTube for 6 years. He has been studying medicine since last year. In other words, he started last year. It's a continuous action, studying, and it's still true now. He is studying medicine now. He has been studying medicine since last year. And they've been building their house for years. They have been building. They've been building their house for years. In other words, building the house, it's a continuous action. It started years ago and it's still true now. So we need this present perfect continuous tense. They've been building. Simple. Okay, the past perfect continuous. It had been raining. It hadn't been raining. Had it been raining? So basically, it's the same as before, but we're just putting the verb has in the past. Had. Now, do you remember when we talked about the past perfect tense? It had rained. And we used that to talk about two actions that happened in the past. And we used the past perfect, it had rained, to talk about the first action that happened. Well, it's a similar idea with this tense. Here we have two actions that happened in the past. The first one is a continuous action that started and finished before the second one started. So let's look at some examples to help see this in action. I had been looking for a job for months before I decided to start a business. I had been looking for a job. That's the action. It was a continuous action that started and stopped before the next action, I decided, happened. She had been feeling sick in the mornings, so she went to see a doctor. Again, this is a repeated action. Many mornings she felt sick, so she decided to go and see a doctor. And he had been traveling around the world before he started at that company. Continuous action, traveling. It started and stopped before he got his job at that company. Now, in that video there, I talked more about some interesting differences between it had rained and it had been raining. So if advanced grammar is your thing, I recommend you watch that video too. And that just leaves one more tense. The future perfect continuous. It will have been raining. It won't have been raining. Will it have been raining? So to form it, it's the same as the others. We just put the verb have into the future. Will have. And we use this to talk about the duration that we expect something to happen until a specific moment in the future. For example, in the year 2030, I will have been working here for 15 years. Okay, we have a specific moment in the future and we're expressing how long a continuous action will have been happening until that moment. You will have been cooking for 3 hours when I get back. So I get back here, you are cooking. How long will this continuous action happen until the specific moment in the future? 3 hours. You will have been cooking for 3 hours. when I come home. So download the summary there of this lesson, get the rules, get the examples, take the test, and let me know how you do on the test. And there's one of the videos that I mentioned earlier in the video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.